welcome to another tutorial. Today's topic is about Python data type. So let's learn together. So in Python, Python data type represents the type of data stored into a variable memory. So there are mainly two types of Python data type. Number one is built-in data type. Another one is user-defined data type. So in built-in data type, there are some categories like Nontype, Numeric type, sequences, sets, mapping. So I will explain it. Let's go with the flow. So let me tell you about something about user-defined data type. So we have three types of user-defined data type, like array, class, and module. So these are the advanced topics. So I will talk about it later. So today's topic is just related to the data type only. So as I told you, numeric data type is one of the data types under built-in data type. So there are three data types in numeric type: integer, float, and complex. So integer in Python, that integer data type is used to represent integer values. Integers are whole numbers without any decimal point. Like you can see the value of the integer variable. So you will have a whole number without any decimal point. So and now float. In Python, the float data type is used to represent floating point numbers. Like after integer number, if you have any decimal point, then that will be called as a float type value, or and the variable will call float type variable, and its value is float type. Okay, so here you can see we have decimal point 23.56, so it is a float value. And lastly, complex numeric type. In Python, complex numbers are a built-in data type used to represent numbers with both real and imaginary parts, like real and imaginary part. So here J is imaginary number, and we use J or capital J as a suffix. So we have to think about a complex number that is very much important. There is a note, because when you convert list, or when you convert integer number to float or float to integer, it's possible, and this is called casting. So it's possible, but you cannot convert complex number into float or integer number. So keep in mind, this is very much important. So I have given an example. Com is a variable, and 10 is a real number, plus 7 real number, and J is imaginary number. Combinedly, it's a complex number, and com is considered as complex type variable. Okay, so I have given some example of integer, float, and complex number respectively. You can see here. You can see the example here. So that will help to understand. You can differentiate their activity or their value. It will be helpful to identify whether it is complex or float or integer number. So now Boolean types. So in Boolean numbers, there are two types. That one is true, and another one is false. So the bool data type represents bool value like true or false. Python internally represents true as 1 and false as 0. As for example, if you have true plus true, then you will get 2, and if you have false minus true minus false, then you will get 1. Because if you consider the true as 1, then you will have 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. If you have false, that means 0. 1 minus 0, that is equal to 1. So in this way it will calculate. So this is one of the type of built-in data type. So we will we'll see later in the practical session about this example, then everything will be clear. I hope you understand. Okay, now sequence type. There are 4 types under sequence type. Data type, like string, list, tuple, range. Why it is called sequence? Because it will maintain a certain sequence. Okay, that's why they call sequence type. Okay, so let's go with the flow. Okay, sequence type. So string. The first one is string. In Python, a string is a sequence of characters enclosed within either single quotes or double quotes or triple quotes. Strings are a fundamental data type used to represent text. So I have taken a variable str1 code to learn under double quote. Double quotes. You can see another variable str1 code to learn under single quote, and the last one is under triple quote. So here is a variable, and the value, the string is code to learn inside the double quote scope, and this variable is called string type variable. So I think you can understand very easily. It's not a very big deal though. Okay, here a list represents a group of elements. Here is a group of elements. It can be string, float, integer, complex. It depends. A list can store different types of elements which can be modified. Lists are dynamic, which means size is not fixed. Lists are represented using square brackets. So when you are trying to have a list, you have to use square bracket. And here data is a variable. So let's see some example deeply. So here the data is the variable, and we have some elements inside the list. So here is some indexing. You can see the position of 9 would be 0. Python will index from 0 to 0 to it will go forward 0 1 2 3 4 in this way. So we have a length of value 0 1 and 1 2 3 4 4. So it will start from 0. The 0th position is 9, 1 position is minus 40, like this, and the position of 21.7 is 2, and the position of code to line, the other string, is 3. And similarly, it is also possible if you count reversely, then it will start from minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4. See, minus 1, the value of minus 1 would be equal to 1. The value of 21.7 would be minus 2, minus 40 would be minus 3, and minus 4 would be 9. So when you are trying to have this information reversely, then the counting would be start from minus 1, and when you will start from the beginning, then it will start from 0. You have to keep in mind. So here 9 has two values, 0 and minus 0 and minus 4 as well. So it depends on our work. We sometimes we need minus value, or sometimes we need positive value. So keep in mind, it's always same for the other data type as well. It is also possible to use such thing in case of string, like consider yourself you have a string into a value, into a variable. If you like to have the last number of that string, then you have to write -1. Then it will give you the last value of that string. Okay, if you use 0, then it will give you C here. I'm talking about string. So okay, now we are going to talk about tuple or tuple. A tuple represents a group of elements like list. The fact is you cannot modify, like let's see one thing. In case of list, you can find out the position and you can change its value. Okay, we will see later when we'll practice ourselves in Visual Studio course. So wait for that class. So let's go with the flow first. Okay, so what we are talking about, a tuple, that is you cannot modify it, you just only read. Okay, and when you are trying to write uh, a tuple, you have to use parentheses, then it will consider the tuple. Okay, you can have their position like list. You can only see, but you cannot modify it. Its position, but it's only readable, not modifiable. You cannot modify this thing, the elements. That is the big difference between list and tuple. But you can convert, you can cast a list to tuple or tuple to list. So I will give you the practical example in the practical session. Okay, now range, the last thing of sequence type. So range is something. Range represents a sequence of numbers. The numbers in the range are not modifiable, so you cannot modify it like list. Like sequence, you have written 5 under the scope of range function, so it will give you a range of a sequential value 0 1 2 3 4. Again, the range will start from 0, not from 1. So you have to keep in mind, like index, so it will start from 1. So if you write 5, then it will show you 0 1 2 3 4 5. You write 6, it will show you 0 1 2 3 4 5, not 6, only 5, because we have totally 5. If you write 6, we will have 5 here. If you write 7, we will have 6 here. Considering 0, total would be 6 or 7. So here we have 5, so we'll have 5 elements, but it will start from 0 to 4, and it will be 4. So here's another example of range rg. Here rg is a variable and range is a function. So we start from 10 and ended with 18. So start from 10 and ended with 18. But what is 2 here? 2 is the difference. Like here is the difference, 0 1, there is no difference, but here is one difference, right? But here I have written 2 difference. That means it will show you the even number. Okay, 10 plus 2, 12 plus 2, 14 plus 2, 16. In this way it will, if you have 20, then it will end at 20. Okay, so here it will not start from 0, because I have mentioned the starting point as well as ending point, so that's why it will start from 10, it will end at 8. So this is the thing. Okay, now I have given some example using index. This is similar like list, tuple. You can have their position. I have written the sequence like 0 1 2 3 4, and the first value, the first position will be 0 1 2 3 4, and if you come with the reverse value, then 4 will be -1, 4 will be -1, 3 will be -2, 2 will be -3, 1 would be -4, and last one will be -5. So here 0 has two value, plus positive 0 and -5. So in this way you can have two types of indexing number. depend on your depend on your work, you can use it. And similarly, if I talk about the second example, rg, here rg is a variable. So I have written the value 10, 20, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So their index is, position is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Similarly, you can have the value reversely. Here -2 would be 20, -1 would be 20, -2 would be 18, -3 would be 16. In this way it will end at 10, maybe -6 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, -6 would be the last value if we come reversely. Okay, set type. In Python, set is a built-in data type that represents an unordered collection of unique elements. Sets are similar to list and tuple but have some distinct characteristics. So what are those distinct characteristics? Like set would be unique, okay? It will contain unique elements. Set can only contain unique elements. If you try to add a duplicate elements to a set, it will not be added. Okay, unordered. List, in case of list, it will maintain an order, but in case of sets are unordered, which means the elements does not have a specific order. We can access each element using it. So accessing elements in case of set is not possible. It is unordered, so we cannot access it. Okay, but it is mutable. Sets are mutable because meaning you can add and remove elements after the set is created. Okay, we can remove the element or we can add the element. Sets are defined using curly brackets. So if you like to create a set, then you have to use curly brackets. Okay, so there are some example like list or tuple, but the fact that there is no there is no duplicate value. If you have, then it will be deleted. Okay, it will be removed by Python. Mapping type or dictionary or dict. A map represent a group of elements like Python. So but sorry, what I said, a map represent a group of elements like list. So but there is a difference between list and dictionary, because these elements, the group of elements will be pure. They will stay purely because they will have key and values. So it's a must. Okay, it's a must. It will have key and value. Key and value. So if you like to have a dictionary, then you have to write the key as well as the value. Okay, this is the form. Okay, so here the 101 is the key and Imran is the value. Here Imran is the key now and 2000 is the value. So in this way you can have 103 as key and Ihan as a value. We can have Akhtar as key, 6000 as value. So this is the example. So I try to show you elaborately such that you can understand. This is data, this is a variable, and here white marked the white marked elements are considered as key, and kinds of yellow, maybe yellow type elements are considered as values. So you can see here Imran is key, and 2000 is the value of the key. Okay, I hope you understand. So at a glance, built-in data type. The data types are provided by Python. Okay, at a glance. Okay, text type, numeric type. Under numeric type, we have under numeric types. What do we have? Integer, float, complex. Sequence type, we have list, tuple, range. Okay, I have given some example. Mapping type, dictionary, I have given example here. You can see set type, set, frozen. Frozen state is something like you know, sets are unordered, and but sometimes you can froze the order and it will be fixed, it will be unchangeable, and its position will be fixed. Okay, boolean type there is true. I think I could write here false as well. So there is two values, so true and false. Okay, I hope you understand. Binary types. Okay, I will give you some example about binary types here. No worry. Non-type. Non-type is something that it will contain an object, but there is no value. Character. There is no concept of chart data type in Python to represent individual character. And let's talk about non-type. Non-type data type represent an object. It represents an object that doesn't contain any value. Okay, you know, Python consider everything as an object, right? So we will talk about it. OOP, object oriented programming, about the object. You know, I mean about object, how objects work, how we can say that Python consider everything as object, as an object, right? Okay, now let's go to practical session. So everything, I have completed my theoretical session, but now we need to see the practicality. Okay, then that will be understandable more. So let's go. Now we are going to learn about numeric data types. So we know that numeric data type has integer, float, and complex data type. Numeric data type, right? Complex. Okay, so let me give some example of integer. Let's take a variable data equal to 20. Let's take another variable data 2 equal to 20.1. Let's take another variable data 3. You can have any variable here, like 4 plus 7j. So if we print the type respectively, we'll be able to see the type here. Let's print it out. If we are using string formatting, so let's print it out. Data 1, data 2, data 3. And if you want to see the type, then we'll be able to see it. So let's see the type. type is a built-in function in Python. So let's see its type. Let me run the code. See, the class is integer, and let me write type again. Okay, we have to do the same thing here. Type, then we'll be able to see the types of, you know, integer and float as well as complex number. Actually, we have experience. I mean, I have talked about 3 data type, integer, float, and complex in our theoretical sessions, and we will be able to see their class respectively: integer, float, and complex. Right? This is complex. So now let's talk about let's practice sequence. Data type. What do we have in sequence data type? We have string, we have list, we have tuple or tuple, we have range, right? So let me uncomment it. Okay, so let me give you an example of string str1. Let me write code to learn. This is a string, right? So if we print its if we print the variable, then we will be able to see the value, right? But our concern is to see the type of the variable. Okay, let's write the built-in data type. Sorry, typ type is p1. Let's run the code and we'll be able to see str class. Okay, and I talk about indexing, like you can see the result of the position, like you can you know, retrieve data based on their position. Like I talk about in Python, it counts 0 to forward, like 0 1 2 3 4 5 in this way. So if you write here like print let me comment it. Okay, if you print st1 and if you write 0, then you will be able to see the first value here. See. Okay, if you write -1, then you will be able to see the last letter of the string. See, this is the thing. Okay, so in this way we can, by using index, you can retrieve data. Okay, this is example of string. Now let's talk about list. List, so collection of different type of elements. Okay, let's take a list1. We have to use square bracket because it's a list. 9 to I have written here integer value. Let me have some floating point. Let me have some string. Okay, so we can see the type. We are in print list1. Let's see its type. Okay, list1 is not defined. Why? Oh, list1. Let's see. So we can see its value, but we need to see the type type and close. We'll be able to see it is a list type. Data type. This is list data type. Sequence data type. And inside the sequence data type we have list type. Okay, and if you like to see the position of the value, it is also possible. Print list1. We can use the position. So as I told you, the position start from 0. So 0 1 2. So we have 3 values. So if we write here 0, we'll be able to see the first value, that is 9. Okay, if you write -1, we will be able to see the last value, last element code, right? And if you write 2, the second last you will be able to see. If you write 3, you will be able to see the first. If you write 4, then you will get an error because there's no value like 4. Okay, so we have to understand this. Same thing can be done in case of a tuple, because it's kind of similar. Let's take a variable name tuple or tuple1 is equal to, in case of tuple we have to use parentheses. We can have the data like list1, such that we can understand easily. Let's print the type tuple1, tuple1. So we'll be able to see the class tuple, right? Okay, if you like to see the positional, the element of different position, it's also possible. Let me print it out. Tuple. Okay, if you write 0, then you will be able to see all see 9. Actually, I couldn't write the right variable, that's why I didn't give the right message here. So if I write -1, we'll be able to see code. Okay, right. So but you cannot change the position of you cannot modify any element. You can just read only. So in case of list, it is possible to modify the list. Let me write -1, then we'll be able to see code, right? Okay, let me comment it first. Okay, now let me see. Sorry, it will be -1 code, right? But if you want to modify it, it is also possible, like list. We can cast it list which position you like to modify, like -1, and what would be the new value. The new value would be like, let me write Imran. It can be an integer or anything like float or complex number. I like to insert a new variable, a new value. Then if I print, then Imran will be shown. Imran has to be shown here. So let's see Imran. We already modified it. If we print the list, then we'll be able to see the modified list, right? We don't have any code anymore. We don't have this string code, rather we have the string Imran. So in this way we can modify list, but which is not possible for tuple. If you try it, then you will get an error. Okay, let me do it. Let me uncomment it and tuple tuple1. Okay, see, indentation error. Oh, why? Okay, there is an indentation problem. Tuple object does not support item assignment. See, you cannot assign like list in case of tuple. It is fixed. Okay, So that is the thing. Let me comment. Okay, I need to comment this one too. Sorry. Okay. Tuple now. Now let me study about. Okay, let's study range. Okay. Let's take a variable named rg and write range. If we write 5 here, okay, it will generate 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. The range will start from 4 like index. Okay, so in this way, let me print it out. Before printing range, if we like to see the position of last value, it is also possible, like list. If I write here -1, we'll be able to see 4, right? See, you can see 4. If we write 0, then we'll be able to see 0. If we write 1, we'll be able to see 1. And if we would like to see whole value, then it is also possible 0 to 1. But if you think that what is happening behind is also possible to see, so I can use a for loop here to see what's happening here. Don't worry about a for loop. I will talk about for loop later. Just see what is happening here. Range, let me take range of 5. Okay, and let me print I. Then we'll be able to see 0 to 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Okay, if you write 3, then 1, 2. Okay, if you write 10, 0 to 9 will be represented. See, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is, and the thing is, you cannot modify it like list. So it's only possible for list. So you cannot modify it. That's about sequence data type. I like to show you some example of Boolean data type. True and false. We have two value here, false only. Here inside the Python programming language, here the value of true is 1 and value of false is 2. I'm sorry, 0. So that is the fact. Okay, let's make it easy for us to understand. Okay. If we write true, true plus true, we'll be able to see 2, because 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. And if you write another true, then we'll be able to see 3, because we know the value of true is 1. and if you write false, okay, value of 0 is the value of false is 0, so 1 minus 0 would be 1. Okay, that is the thing. If you write false, let's see, false. Okay, let me plus 0 plus 0 feels false. Let's see 0. Okay, so let me, now we have, what do we have? Sequence, data type. Okay, now we have set type, data type. Set data type, right? So in this case, let's take a variable st, and we have to use curly bracket to write down the data. The fact is that in the set you cannot use any duplicate, rather you have to use unique. If you write anything duplicate, it will automatically remove the duplicate one. So let me insert it. Like I have written Imran here, I have written code, I have written 1 2 3 4, again 1 2 3 4, again if I write Imran again, or if I write code again, so when we will print it out, we'll able to see the unique value, so duplicate will be deleted automatically. So let me see it. st, let me print it out. See, 1 2 3 Imran 4 code, so the duplicate one has deleted and set is unordered. Okay, now you can see that it is not maintaining its order. Okay, so you have to keep in mind. And if you like to see the type, is also possible. Say set. Okay, now it's time to see about dictionary or dict file or mapping, data type. As I told you, we have keys and values in case of dictionary, so we have to use curly bracket here, and we need to have key, and value, right? So this is the pointer. So we can modify the value, you can see the value as well. Let me see it. If we write 1, then we'll able to see the value of Imran. Okay, if you write it, like if it is suppose if it is also a string like first, okay, and if you use it, you will able to see its value. Okay, Imran. So if you use keyword, you will able to see its value. So let me check the type DCT. Okay, So we can access the value or we can modify the value, but I didn't show you at the theoretical part. That's why I'm not showing you here. So my concern is for theoretical part than practical. So whether I didn't show you to my theoretical part. That's why I'm not showing that, how you can modify dictionary. So that's it for today. If I miss anything, I will try to show those things for my I will try to show those things in my upcoming playlist. Key to success: learn minimum, but do it with consistency. Let's learn together. Thanks for watching and subscribe.